Hey, comic fans, how you doing today? I am live, and I'm live only for one reason, because I have a topic I want to discuss right away with everybody. If anybody's out there listening, I'll give everybody a couple of minutes to find me here and jump on. But if any of you are out there, we're live right now for a reason, and that reason is the coronavirus and conventions. And will the coronavirus, will it impact comic book conventions? Well, the thing is, it already has. So, anybody want to join me to talk about this right now? I'll stay on a little bit. So, we will see who's out there, who's up for discussing this, who would like to see what is actually happening. Hello, thank you. So here we are. We're live. Hey, Two Gun, how you doing? Pew pew. Yeah, I think it already has. It has. It has affected the Emerald City conference, comic book convention. Emerald City up in Washington. DC Comics has pulled out. Image Comics, I don't know about. Dark Horse has pulled out, and CGC has pulled out, and so has Penguin Publishing, their graphic novel or comic book arm. Yeah, it's a worrisome thing, and I understand they put their safety of their employees first, and that's good, as they should. But my concern now is, does this affect Florida, and how does it affect MegaCon here? This was the first MegaCon in many years I was planning on going to, and that was because we had so many YouTubers planning on showing up. And I got terrible lighting right now, but it doesn't matter. So far, it's just me and you, Pedro. But I did contact other people and let them know that we were going on to talk about this, and I'm hoping that other people will check it out. Let me just share this with other pages so that maybe other people will be contacted. Put live now, people. Sam just posted his shock over this. Yeah, it's pretty shocking. It is pretty shocking. It is very unfortunate. I don't know how it's going to impact other places, but like I say, already DC and Dark Horse have pulled out of Emerald City Comic Con up in Washington. So is CGC. So is Penguin. So this could become a national problem for comic book conventions this year. So I'm hoping people will try to contact some of these conventions ahead of time and find out, hey, announce, what is your plans? Are you going or you're not? They may not be able to tell you until the last minute. But so far, like I say, it's affected at least one convention, that is Emerald City Comic Con. And we don't know how it might affect Orlando. How are we doing, Sleepy Reader? What we're discussing right now is whether or not the coronavirus is going to affect any more conventions around the country. It has already impacted Emerald City Comic Con, DC, Dark Horse, Penguin Publishing, CGC, all pulling out of Emerald City Comic Con up in Washington. So we don't know how this might affect. Yeah, Emerald City is. They're saying they're still going. The Emerald City people there themselves, and the convention people, say they're going on with the show. Is their plan to go on with the show? But CGC is pulling out, and so is DC Comics, and so is Dark Horse, and so is Penguin Publishing. And my guess is they're not the only ones. Hey, how you doing there, Rod? Rod, I think this will be a discussion for everybody to be talking about on their channels, and talking about everybody. This is a big one. This is a big problem. A lot of conventions could potentially be impacted by this. We know that Washington is one of the most affected areas. They've got 9 people dead, I believe, And so, I don't blame DC and Dark Horse and CGC for not, and Penguin House. Is that the name of their place? Whatever the name of that company is. But they all say they're pulling out, and that's a good reason. I think they don't want to endanger any of their people. I'm looking here. Dark Horse said, due to the severity of the COVID-19 virus, Dark Horse Comics has made the difficult decision to pull out of Emerald City Comicon. DC says, as the health and safety of our employees are always our primary concerns, DC staffers will not be attending conventions during the month of March. So they're just saying that any convention during the month of March is out for them, not just Emerald City, anyone. CGC sent a letter out to its email list saying that they would not be doing it. And Penguin Random House has come to the difficult decision to cancel its participation in Emerald City Comic Con due to concerns surrounding the coronavirus. While this show is an important way for our staff and authors to connect with readers, the health and safety of everyone take priority. So that's the word from those three publishers there. Hey, how you doing, Jabroni? We're just discussing the pullout of DC Comics, Dark Horse Comics, Random House, and CGC from the Emerald City Comic Con because of concerns over the coronavirus. And we're wondering, how is this going to impact the rest of the conventions around the country this year, at least for the next month or so? I know MegaCon's coming up, and everybody's been very excited about a lot of YouTubers meeting up there. But this is something that's going to have to be watched because we don't know. Sleepy Reader says, I'm wondering how far down it's going to drag the economy in general. Well, yeah, it's hard to tell. I tell you what, it's not going to be a good thing for anybody who has a business selling disposable income goods. It's not going to be good for them, and that's your local comic book store. So, guys, your local comic shops might wear a mask. Well, I don't know if wearing a mask will help or not. I think they say if you're sick, you definitely should be wearing a mask. If you're not sick, I don't know if it'll help or not. But, Rod, I imagine it can't hurt. But anyway, your local comic shops could be negatively impacted by this, guys. So, you know what? This would be a time to keep them in mind. If you're unable to go to your local convention because it's shut down or whatever, hey, you had money set aside for that. Take it to your local comic shop and spend it there. Help your local comic shop out. I don't want these conventions to shut down, obviously. That's not good. Everybody loves a good convention. I do from the other side of the counter in any way. But, yeah, wash your hands and wash your comic books. Well, I don't know how we wash our comic books. I don't recommend putting them through the laundry, but you might want to at least be aware. There's certainly nothing to panic about, but it's obviously going to impact conventions that are in high risk areas, and I don't blame these companies for pulling out of these things. I mean, they've got to think about their employees and their health and the practical possible problems they might have if their employees do get sick, and then they say, well, you caused this problem. You sent me to this convention, and now I'm suing you for this. Who knows? So this is something we all have to keep our eyes on and see what's happening and be ready to change our plans if it should happen. Sorry, a little tired. I was up very late last night. We had company from out of town, and I've gotten almost no sleep. But anyway, I got these announcements today about Emerald City, and then I got another note, an email about CGC pulling out of Emerald City. So I don't think there'll be the last. I think other companies are going to have a great concern about sending their employees there. But we'll have to see what happens. If any of you are planning on going there, smaller dealers are going to pull out. You know what? Personally, if I was there in Washington, I would not be going to that show. I would not be sending my employees there to set up shop because what happens? I mean, what happens if that's going to spread somewhere? I mean, and this is the kind of places it could happen the most. Nobody should panic, obviously. Nobody should panic. But, I mean, you have to think about your health of your employees. You have to think about the health of your family and yourself. So if indeed we find ourselves in a situation where, I don't know which microphone's on, this one or another one. If we find ourselves in a situation where, we're down to, should I do this convention or not? Well, I'm going to err on the side of the health of my family and friends. Hold on one second, people. And make sure everybody's healthy,
So, Jennifer, um, 4 hot places killing after Italy, Iran. Well, I'm not a Republican or a Democrat. I don't take part in any of these political situations, but I don't trust our government to get anything right, no matter who's in charge, Trump or anybody else. So I'm just going to be careful with our own hometown and hoping that they do a good job. Whoever is in charge of this situation, that they do a good job of containing it as much as possible. I don't put a lot of faith in governments, unfortunately. So I worry about that. But uh, you know, common sense. I checked personally. I went to the World Health Organization's website. I went to the CDC website. I even went to Canada's equivalent website, and Mike Pence is not capable as well. Well, like I say, I think we all of us can, you know, educate ourselves on this situation and know what to do. But whether or not it spreads, we'll just have to monitor the conventions and see who is going to go and who's not going to go. But my guess is this is definitely going to impact conventions in a negative way, just as it already has Emerald City. Has anyone heard of any other conventions? Um, he was appointed to receive the blame. That may be the case. Has anybody heard? Wouldn't surprise me at all, Jennifer. Uh, has anybody seen or heard anything about any other conventions or events being shut down besides Emerald City Comic Con? This is the first one I heard of, and it's right in the heart of a country of a state that has a high death rate already for this. A high death toll, 9 deaths apparently. So I don't know of any other ones either, other than that first one, and it is the first one. But we have a lot of conventions coming up. I mean, there are quite a few conventions that are happening. Um, I had a list of conventions. Hold on a second. Let's see if I can find that. Um, we had a list of upcoming conventions. Let me see if I can find it. So, can everybody hear me all right? Uh, Anybody who's in the chat, can you hear me okay? Well, let me tell you this. Let me see here. We have conventions coming up. We have on March 29th, Fan Expo in Dallas. We have the Big Apple Comic Con on April 4th and 5th. We have WonderCon in Anaheim, California, April 10th and 12th. MegaCon in Florida, April 16th and 19th. And then on the East Coast, Comic Con is going to be happening May 15th to the 17th. The Comic Con Revolution in Ontario, California, that's 16th and 17th. Heroes Convention in Charlotte, North Carolina, we're talking June 19th to 21st. Amazing Las Vegas Convention Center at the Convention Center Las Vegas, June 26th to 28th. And the San Diego Comic Con, of course, will happen in July 23rd to 26th. In August, there's several more. There's Fan Expo, there's Terrificon, there's Wizard World, there's Fan Expo Canada. October brings us New York Comic Con again and Baltimore Comic Con. So these are all Comic Cons that are upcoming. Do I know what happened 3 weeks before? I do not know, Jennifer. We're trying to. Please wait. I'm sure you're going to tell us. We do need to, though, try to figure out what's happening with the conventions and if there's any that we were planning on going to, which conventions might still be going on, who will still be going there. Now, we've only heard from DC and Dark Horse and okay, I just got a local news. The U.S. corona death toll is at 11. The first death outside Washington State happening. So other states are obviously going to be impacted by this. Florida's already got a couple of coronavirus positive people, and we expect that's going to grow. Eating. Hey, what's up? Just eating lunch with Bueller. Well, Sam, what we're discussing here is whether or not other conventions are going to be impacted by the coronavirus concerns, because Emerald City already has. Emerald City already has been affected. DC Comics is pulling out. So is Dark Horse Comics, and so is CGC, as well as Random House, their Penguin publishing arm. They are all pulling out of that convention. And DC says it's pulling out of all conventions in the month of March. So my guess is this is going to be followed by other withdrawals. Other companies are going to probably not be sending their artists and writers to at least Emerald City Comic Con. Emerald City Comic Con itself, up until right before I came on the air, said that they indeed were going to be holding this convention. They had no plans on not holding the convention. So we'll have to see what happens from there. Really not certain, but you can find all the. Here's a good place to find the list of the conventions that are happening, because one company goes to almost every major convention in the company, and that's CGC in the country. CGC goes to all the biggest ones, and you can go to CGC's website. I'm not trying to promote CGC over somebody else, but you could go to CGC's website right now and find out a list of all the conventions coming up and what months are happening, what the date spans are for whatever week or days are going to be there. How you doing, Sam? And this is going to be a place where you can, I imagine, check and see if they say they're pulling out of any of the future ones. They're going to let you know if you're on their email list. That's how I found out. So it was an Olympic in Wuhan. So, like I say, I jumped on to try to tell as many people as possible that, hey, this is something that perhaps the YouTube comic community should be talking about, and one that we should all be concerned about, because I'll tell you what, beyond just conventions, this could have a negative impact on your local comic book shops. I mean, they're some of the least healthy financially, in the chain, in this whole industry. The comic shops have the biggest risk and the least amount of money. And so if you do change your convention plans, if you decide not to go to a convention, you already set aside money for a convention, let me just make a recommendation, and I know I'm biased here, but let me make a recommendation that you turn that money into your local community at the comic book stores and let them benefit and help you with your hobby, even though your local convention may have shut down. We don't know what's going to happen with MegaCon. MegaCon's in Orlando, which is about an hour and a half east of my store. And we'll see. We'll see what happens. I was looking at Jennifer's comments there. She's pointing out where the source of the original coronavirus may have happened. My main concern at the moment is looking forward and how is it going to affect our business? How is it going to affect our community, comic book community in general across the country, the hobby? And I don't know. It's hard to say right now, but like I say, when we see our very first convention victim here, and that is Emerald City, and they're saying they're still going on with the show, but it's going to be Sans Dark Horse, Sans DC, Sans CGC. They're all not going to attend. Well, whether we should close our borders or not, I hope it doesn't come to that, Jennifer. A lot of our businesses are going to be very negatively impact on that, and certainly shops like mine, we depend on our customers' disposable income. So we're hoping that this whole thing doesn't get to the point where we're going to shoot ourselves in the foot or destroy our economy over it, or that it doesn't come to that. But if like I say, my suggestion for everybody is keeping the comic book community healthy, is having healthy local comic book stores. And if you're not going to go to your convention because it got closed down, that's unfortunate. But how about taking that money you set aside? I'm sure your local comic shop can fill a lot of your needs. I know it's a bummer not getting to see that celebrity or whoever, but I mean, safety is important. Well, I don't think anybody's life should be put in danger over it. Our livelihoods are going to be in danger somewhat too. I don't think this is going to spread as much as some people believe. I'm hoping not. Anyway, I don't know if closing the border is the way to go. Certainly, something has to be done. I don't have all the answers to that. My My main concern is our industry and our hobby. And I mean, as far as, of course, our main concern is People's Health, of course, that, but it's beyond my power to do anything there. It is within my power to say, hey, if you do stay home and you aren't going to your convention because it got shut down, don't forget your local community. Don't forget your mom and pops in the local community. Um, that's okay, Jennifer. My main, like I say, my main thoughts here on this show and talking to everybody is to see how it's impacting our hobby. I don't have much control over other things, but we'll see what unfolds here. My main concern again is that the comic community talks about it and relates the information that they have with each other, and that is about are the conventions going to happen? Will your local comic shops be attending the conventions? Will the conventions happen at all? Who is going to be there? Who's not going to be there? These are all things that we need to consider while we see what actually does unfold on this whole thing. Best of luck, Jennifer. So, like I say, I would like to see some of the other people in the comic community talk about it. And if you get the chance, some of the other people in the comic community that probably will be talking about this is, well, let me guess, everybody, Bueller and Perry and Comic Jabroni and Rod, Rican and his comics, probably Comic Tom will as well, and Robbie. All of them will all be talking about this. My guess is this is going to be big news in the industry because we have had at least one convention get affected by this so far. So we'll see where it goes from here. I will be posting any other information that I get on our Facebook. If you aren't on our Facebook, find Comics Club on Facebook. If I feel a need to jump back live, I'll let everybody know I'm going live. And sorry, I can't have anybody in the chat with me because I haven't got to that point of doing that yet. But tell you what, if any of you guys want to get together, I'm sure Perry, I'm sure Rod mentioned he might talk about it this Saturday's show. I'm sure Bueller is probably looking into it right now, and any others. Sam, my guess, Pedro, getting ready for a BS show today. Absolutely. It's so Sam and Bueller should be talking about this. Sam, if you're listening, Sam, you and Bueller should definitely pick this up and talk about it today. And so everybody, like I say, I would be posting whatever other information I get on our Facebook. And thanks for listening. Thanks for joining me this afternoon. And remember, read. It brings out the hero in you. We'll see you next time.